Hey guys, Nate here, and today we're back with a new exotic guide for this right here. Exotic hand cannon that just dropped yesterday, D1's Hawkmoon. It's back, and this is gonna kick off our exotic guide. Now, for starters, when you first sign in, you're gonna see a little blip on your left hand side, a little marker, letting you know that this quest is available. In order to start this quest, you will need to visit Big Man right here, Spider, in the Tangled Shore, and you're going to talk to him. That's going to kick off the first part of the quest. It's divided into two. The first step is you're going to collect 6 feathers. First feather is literally right outside the safe house, right here where you're looking at. That's it. That's your first feather. Second feather, from here we're going to the sludge and the EDZ, and you are going to follow my path that I'm going to show you on screen, and it's going to lead you to your second feather. Now, the way you find these, when you read the description, there's clues. However, in Destiny fashion, those clues don't really help you. They don't really say a whole lot. So you kind of have to figure all this stuff out. Now, as you can see, there's this individual right here, this level 42, right in front of the screen, what you're looking at. Where this individual is at, that's going to be where the location of your second feather, which is right here. So just, where the lost sector is at, just turn around and get up here, and it's going to lead you to your second feather. Third feather is going to be the steps, or the steeps, in the Cosmodrome. So it's the first landing zone, if you will, in the Cosmodrome when you pull up the Cosmodrome. And for this one is also, as soon as you land in to this location, you are going to find your third feather. Now keep in mind, for this portion of the quest, your feathers aren't like marked on your screen. There isn't anything letting you know like, hey, it's right here. So it does get a bit tricky, a bit confusing. So for your Cosmodrome one, on the steeps or the steps, however you want to say it, however it is said, this is where your feather is at, where I am jumping at to right now, actually. So again, keep in mind that the location of your feathers, it's not marked on your screen or on your map or anything like that. So there is a chance that you might, miss it if you don't pay attention. Now, fourth feather is in the DIVALIAN Mist in the Dreaming City. This is next to the doorway that takes you into the Blind Well. So that's going to be your fourth feather. Now, keep in mind something about this quest. You absolutely need to get the 6 feathers in order to continue the quest. Because the way this Hawkmoon quest works, the feathers are your quest before the quest, if that makes sense. Like, you need these 6 feathers, and then once you complete all that stuff, then it actually gives you the quest. And again, as you can see, gigantic doorway, and the feather is right here. Just jump up to this ledge and collect your feather. So now that's your 4th feather. We need 2 more. Your 5th feather is in the Shrine of Orcs on the moon, and by this point you should already know where all this is at. Dreaming City, Shrine of Orcs, all this stuff. It isn't new, and we've been in these locations more than once over the last few years. So just land right here in Sanctuary and make your way to Archer's Line. From Archer's Line you can make your way into the Shrine of Orcs. Now, you've seen on screen, the feather is in this room right here. This is the same room from the strike from D1. This is where your 5th feather's at, right here in this room. As you're gonna see, I'm actually gonna go ahead and pick it up right now. Now, for your 6th and final feather, it is on the Tangled Shore, and you're going to need to speak to the fine gentleman known as the Crow. He will talk for a bit, and as per exotic guide, I have cut out all that stuff out so you can experience it on your own as you do your own quest. And after the conversation, he will give you the sixth and final feather, which will then actually kick off your exotic quest. And let's jump into it. With your 6 feathers collected, you are going to have this conversation with Crow. I did cut it out so that you can experience it yourself. And this is going to kick off your actual first step to the Hawkmoon quest, which is Cry from Beyond. This is a story mission located in the sludge on the EDZ. Don't worry about the story mission, don't worry if you can't find it. It's going to show up right away on your map when you bring up the EDZ, and it'll show up in the sludge as you can see on screen. Now, this quest actually has a lot to do with the Crow, and there's a lot of neat moments in this entire quest about all of this stuff. I know that there's mixed feelings on all this, but back to this. You're gonna find this bird, this hawk made out of light. You're gonna go up to it, and this kicks off your mission. You're gonna go in, run this mission. There's dialogue in here, there's bosses and things of that sort. I did manage to cut a lot of it out, so as was mentioned, you can experience it yourself because it is a really neat quest. I will admit that. And once you defeat the boss, you're going to pick up the remnants of Hawkmoon, and this is going to kick off your quest. And once you do that, this leads to our next step, which our next step is to return to the Crow back on the Tangled Shore. With our story mission complete in the EDZ, as was previously mentioned, you will now need to return to Crow on the Tangled Shore, and this kicks off your next step. Your next step is this right here, to generate orbs. Once you have returned to Crow and you've had your conversation, this kicks off step 3 of your exotic quest. For step 3, what you need to do is generate and collect 50 orbs. That's it. Plain and simple. Easiest way to do this, equip any masterwork weapons you have and just kill enemies until you generate orbs. Now, for this step, it's best that you can do it anywhere. You can do it anywhere and on any planet, any activity. However, it's best that you stay here on the Tangled Shore because as soon as you complete this step, you need to return to Crow. So, might as well stay here, right, and avoid all that stuff and, cut down your time so you can keep moving on this. Now, you're going to see on the left-hand side of your screen, every time you get a kill with the masterwork weapon, that you generated an orb, as you can see. That's how you know that you're generating orbs. Any masterwork weapon generates orbs, your supers of course. Again, all you're doing is generating and collecting 50 orbs. That's it. Once you have generated and collected your orbs, you will again return to Crow, as was mentioned. Once you do that, you are going to have another conversation which furthers the story. Once you do that, it will lead you to your next step. Once you have completed your conversation with Crow, it's going to lead you to step 5, which is investigate the coordinates in the TROSTLAND on the EDZ. As was mentioned before, when you pull up the EDZ, you're going to see this on your map. It's going to show you where it's at. Now, for step 5 and 6 are the same steps, or step 5 leads into step 6. However, you won't need to leave this area in order for it to turn into step 6. It's a bit confusing because when you start this, you're at step 5. When you finish, you're going to have step 7. Now, your first step is this right here. You're going to investigate this signal. Now, this leads to another mission, and while you're in this mission, it turns into step 6 automatically. You don't need to do anything. You don't need to leave the area. You don't need to go talk to anyone else. So keep that in mind. You didn't mess up. You're not doing anything wrong. Step 5, you're on the right track. So you're on step 5. It's going to lead into step 6. And then you're going to work on step 6 in this area. Once you do that, it's going to lead you to step 7, which is again return to Crow. As was just mentioned, once you complete step 5 and 6, again you will need to return to Crow. Now, this is actually the last time you return to Crow throughout this entire exotic quest. And don't worry, you're more than halfway at this point. You're in step 7, there's only 10 steps. So again, you're going to return to Crow, you're going to have a conversation with him, which I cut it out again so that you can experience all this yourself. Once you complete your conversation, you finish your conversation, this leads into the next step, which is step 8. If the background noise is beginning to pick up, I do apologize. My kitties have just woke up, and I was trying to do this before they woke up. But anyhow, moving on with our quest. Once you have completed step 7, once you return to Crow, you have your conversation, this leads to step 8. Step 8, you're going to need to either kill champions or defeat guardians in the Crucible or Gambit. Fastest way to do this, Gambit, hands down. However, you can do this in Crucible, but it will take you it will take you a good amount of time. I say that because I ran one Crucible game and I got 4% after that one Crucible game. I ran a second Crucible game, I got 5%. So after 2 Crucible games, I was at 9%. Now I went to Gambit. After one Gambit game, I went from 9% to 24%. So again, by far, fastest way to do it is through Gambit, and the kills count more here, or the percentage goes up faster here, because you don't get as many Guardian kills, right? The portal has to open and all that for you to actually be able to get Guardian kills. Now, you can do it the champion way, and in order for you to do that, you would need to play higher level difficulty Nightfalls so that you have those champions. You can also do it that way. Again, fastest way to do this, by far, Gambit. Once you have got your champion kills, or you have got your Guardian kills in Crucible, or your Guardian kills in Gambit, this is going to lead you to your next step, step 9. Step 9 is a mission in the Sludge on the EDZ titled The Crow and the Hawk. Now, keep this in mind, as with steps 5 and 6, steps 9 and 10 are intertwined, or they roll over into one another. So this starts off as step 9, but somewhere in here it rolls over into step 10. So again, you didn't mess up, you didn't do anything wrong. It's not going to tell you, you don't need to go, leave this mission area, go somewhere else. It's all going to be one consecutive thing. You're going to start off at step 9, it leads into step 10, and again, once you do this mission, you get Hawkmoon. You reforged Hawkmoon. Now, once this is done, you actually don't need to talk to anyone. You don't need to talk to Spider, you don't need to talk to Crow, you don't need to talk to Zavala, you don't need to talk to Drifter, anything like that. Once you complete this, you have your gun, and you have completed your Hawkmoon exotic quest. And let me just say, by far, one of the best hand cannons. That's it. That's going to do it. Thank you guys so very much for watching. I'm Nate. I'll catch you guys in the next one.